Welcome back to Fold in the Cheese. It is your boy, K-Troll, on the mic today, and I am joined by Mr. Gelfand himself. And I just got to jump in before you even get a chance to talk and do a quick brag. I am a champion soccer coach. Champion soccer coach. That's
well
right.
done, man.
U10 boys championship night. It was lit.
Congratulations. I also like to point out, you missed the first game, right?
I missed the first 3 games,
and
actually.
So were you
for various
perfect
reasons.
as a coach? Because they lost the first game, right?
They lost the first game. They got smoked the first game. We played the same team last night. Rematch. It was nuts.
So you were perfect on the coaching season, correct?
I was perfect on the coaching season. Not to brag, but I was perfect on the coaching season. Yeah.
When present, undefeated. Yeah. Love it.
5-0 when present.
So does that the loss doesn't go on your official record or does it? No. I can never remember. I think it does, actually. I think it does, because I remember when in the NBA, at least, like when Steve Kerr was out for like the first 25 games of the season, Luke Walton was in there, and he was like 23-2 or something, but he didn't get any credit for those wins because he wasn't the official head coach or whatnot. So unfortunately, I think that is correct. I think unfortunately you do get credited for the loss. I'm sorry.
Well, that's a big bummer. That's a big bummer. That is a big water bummer on my fire here, but
oh no,
I will say it was wild. This I got to tell you real quick, because my wife actually came up with this, and then the more we started talking about it, the more it was like, this is absolutely true. This is the Mighty Ducks. This season was the Mighty Ducks. We went out, a bunch of ragtag kids. I mean, basically pillows duct taped to their shin guards. Just no
bubble wrap
continuity whatsoever. Okay, and these kids had played before, some, and like they were athletic or whatever, but a bunch of ragtags, misfits. All right. First game of the season, we go up against this team who has been playing together that after seeing them last night, they look like the private school team. They look like a team who's been playing.
Are they the Hawks? Were they? Please tell me their name was the Hawks.
I don't know what their team name was, because they only tell you who they're sponsored by. So you get to make up your own team name for like your mascot. They might have been the Hawks. They sure looked like it. I mean, they were freaking, even their drills before the game, they're sitting there making these long passes across the field. Every kid's shooting from behind, like the penalty line, bombing the ball in. And I'm just like, whoa, I didn't expect that, right? And we're over here just like chasing each other, falling down, kicking pot shots right at the goalie. Like, it's pretty crazy. But it's a perfect circle. We got smoked by them the first game. They came out cocky, didn't expect what they saw. We got tremendously better throughout the season, gelled, came together, learned some things, learned from the first loss, and came out and just whipped them.
Love it. But the big question is, what were the district lines redrawn? So you ended up getting like the best player from their team to join your team. At first, he wasn't accepted, and then he made his way, gets knocked out in that chance. Did that happen?
Yeah. All of that happened. Yeah,
all of that happened. Was he called a cake eater?
Yes. Yes. Okay. All of that happened. A cake eater. He's a cake eater. I will say, I think we didn't have our best offensive player the first game, and I'm not sure we had our goalie either. Our goalie was
Adam Banks.
Sick. He was sick. So that might have been a different. They thought they probably thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're playing this team again, and they made it to the championship. But we started steamrolling, and then it was a very tight game. It was not like we blew them out, but it was crazy.
Last soccer question. So are you guys in like the top league? So so Addison's on, I assume, the same kind of thing, like a travel team. So for her, in her division, the top 2 teams get promoted and the bottom 2 teams get relegated. So I was wondering, is it the same kind of thing? Because they don't have like a playoffs or anything. It's just end of the year, you check your records. There's no playoffs. So I was wondering, since you guys had a championship game, does that mean you get to move up, or how does that work?
I'm not sure what in all of our conversations makes you think that I am qualified to coach a travel soccer team. So for starters, none of that is true. This is the county league, the rec league that, I mean, most kids play on. They have travel teams around here, but most of the kids in the city and the county and whatever, they play. Williamson County Soccer Association is like the main soccer league. So this is it's just soccer. It's not a travel team.
Go play. Hey, love it. Well, congrats, man. That's big time. Congrats to you and Miles. I mean, Troll household on fire. That's awesome.
We brought a cooler filled with Prime and Feastables for the kids. The Mr. Beast chocolate. They went ham. They went ham.
We don't care about the medals.
We got Prime, boys. We got Prime, and they were bumping.
I have never had Prime. Have you? I mean, clearly you have.
I have had it. I had it live on site for one of our pool boys clients, and I got made fun of because apparently only 9-year-old gamers drink the stuff, which is actually pretty accurate. But it is delicious. I have to say, it's
So
very
it's a
tasty.
Gatorade, right? It's a Gatorade-ish.
It's a Gatorade plus coconut water plus
Hippie Gatorade.
yeah, I don't know. It's better than Gatorade. A lot better. It's a lot more flavor.
Which
It's got like
one?
25 grand or 25 calories in it.
Which one was the energy, not energy drink, the Gatorade-ish drink that had carbonation? Was that Powerade or was that All Sport?
All
You remember?
sport.
It was.
It was all
I remember,
sport.
like, why would you put carbonation in a sports drink?
I used to love that stuff though.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it was tasty, but at the same time, like, you're playing basketball and you just come inside like,
I need to
Trying to
burn my
chug
esophagus a little bit here. That was all sport. Yeah, I felt like I was eating a bag of Pop Rocks every time I drank that stuff. And I was like, this is awesome. I'm gonna get jacked.
I'm gonna get jacked because just bubble up inside. It's gonna be great.
Oh, I can feel it. I can feel the energy going down my throat. And like that's acid. That's pure acid.
It is actually melting your insides. It's fine though. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they don't make All Sport anymore.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's been banned in 19 countries.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. Well, hey, congrats, man. That's awesome. Big time for you guys. So we held Miles to wear that medal proud, and you just right there. You don't get the medal.
Indeed.
Okay.
And today I am rocking D-Hen of my Tennessee Titans, proudly wearing Derrick Henry because they didn't trade him. I don't have to unfan them as an organization. I was very upset about the Kevin Byard trade, but Derrick Henry, Titan for life.
Titan for life. And I am rocking our alma mater. Big opening night win in college basketball over the Phoenix of Elon. So
come from behind win.
They were down by 20 in the first half and then won by 20. So,
that's such a classic Wake Forest move.
It's just you're always on a roller coaster. Nothing is a roller coaster
with these clowns.
Safe. Nothing is safe.
Nothing is safe.
But yes, there it is.
Anyway, we digress. Well, we're gonna have some fun today because we are bringing back a couple of our old segments, and we're gonna do quick hitters of some blind resumes. We're gonna do quick hitters. Resumes. I was gonna let you sing it later, but you can sing it twice. And then we're gonna do a quick hitter of on campus.
On campus.
I'm pretty sure it was on campus.
It can't be the same. I know
it's exactly the same.
Okay, on campus.
Roll the tape. I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same.
I'm sure it is. I just felt like we should try it different.
And then there's going to be a little bit of trivia.
Trivia.
But I think we're probably going to do football trivia, right? You've got the trivia you're sending to me?
Yeah, I got you some random as crap trivia just to test your overall general football knowledge.
Good. We'll get there. So first, I think a couple highlights from the NFL this week. How about Josh Dobbs walking in off the street, winning a game in Minnesota? Like, he's fantasy relevant in Minnesota for sure. That is a much better team than the Cardinals were. He's got better weapons, assuming Jefferson comes back soon. Like, he's a weapon. He can run the ball. I think it's uphill.
He's a great teammate, and also, I mean, just classic locker room guy. But the fact that he is able to come off within 3 days, not even at logging an official practice, and lead it's not like it was just for like the final drive. It was the final 2.5 to 3 quarters where he came in and had to run this offense where the head coach was basically deciphering it in his headset as they're playing. Absurd. I mean, he is super smart. He was an aeronautical engineer or an astrophysicist, one of the two. I'm just going to combine them. So the fact that he's able to do that on the fly is spectacular. Great story. And as you said, he's coming into a great situation. Justin Jefferson's going to be coming back. You still got Jordan Addison, Alexander Madison,
TJ Hawkinson, KJ Osborne. I mean, they're all quality receivers.
That offensive line is decent too. So, he's very fantasy relevant. On a bye week, you could definitely pick him up. And also, you're just going to, for all the other players, you're not going to experience that much of a drop off. Even when he was in Arizona, and I know we were making fun of your team earlier in the season, which, by the way, 3-game winning streak, watch out for him.
Look out.
You picked him up and you started him and he had a decent week. I feel like he got you 20 or something points. And that was on a Cardinals team where they're literally trying to lose. So, I mean, he's a decent pickup for bye weeks. And I just don't think you have to worry about your other weapons on the Vikes. So good for them, man. That's a shrewd move. I know they're not going to win the Super Bowl, but they're going to stay relevant. They're going to keep their people happy, make a playoff push. It's fun to watch. I think you got a lot of people rooting for Josh Dobbs now.
Yeah, I certainly am. And he played in Tennessee last year, a couple games as well. Kind of same situation. I mean, he'd been in the system or whatever, but like he came out of nowhere. Like I thought he was retired. I thought he quit football, and maybe he did. Maybe he genuinely came off the street for Tennessee when Malik Willis was so bad. But he came in. I was like, Josh Dobbs. God, I haven't heard that name in years. You know. And
I don't think he's that old, is he? I think
no, I mean, years like a couple of years, but like he never was
like
a
a couple
starter. He was never a starter in the NFL, so like you didn't hear about him often. You know.
Right.
He was a big name at University of Tennessee. He was a big name, so like we knew him around here, of course. But
I saw like his travel map, his career trajectory. It's like started with the Browns, like went to the line, and it's always for like a couple months with the Browns, with the Lions, back to the Browns, then to the Titans, then to the Cardinals, now the Vikings, all within like maybe 18 months. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, not uncommon, but good for him, good for them. Hope he does well. I think he will, actually. I think it'll be a good setup. I loved hearing what you said as well about Kevin O'Connell talking in his headset. Like during it was basically like tell him to play, and they'd be like, "Okay, you're gonna have a receiver on the right. He's running a dig route. You've got your tight end uncovered. If he's uncovered, he's gonna run around." You know, it's like, okay, I got it. Okay, can you imagine? Like that's actually a lot of skill from a coach too, to be able to very quickly tell you what the play's gonna do.
Yeah, pretty cool. Well, speaking of former Arizona Cardinals, what about the current Arizona Cardinal quarterback situation? What we got?
How about my man Kyler Murray coming back? He's officially off the PUP list. They say he's going to get game action this week, which I hope to God means he's going to start and play the whole game, and you're not going to randomly play him a little bit. Every report I've read has said he's like ready to rock. So I think he's fine. I think he'll be back in there.
He tore it in November or December last year.
I want to say December, but I don't know. But it's been almost a full year. You know,
I mean, it's been almost a few years. I mean, that, and again, not a doctor, but I mean, that timeline is usually 7 to 9 months. That's usually kind of like your run of the mill. This is your timeline that you're out. So it's been a year. I don't think the time is the issue. So I'm kind of interested or intrigued, like why they're doing it now. You know, you've held him out this long. I mean, I guess medically, maybe he wasn't ready. But, you know, you're sitting at 1-7. You're clearly not playing for anything. Your team is terrible. Is it just to keep him fresh? Or, I mean, you don't want to accidentally win a couple games, right? Or do you? Like, what do you think is the mindset of playing a Kyler Murray now?
I think there's a lot. There's obviously a lot to unpack there. But like, number one, new coaching staff, new front office, everything. They need to get some time together with him, I think, and see how he operates.
See if he's their guy.
See if he's their guy. I mean, he's locked in for a long time contract-wise. So, like, it's a matter of, are you going to have to push pretty hard to try and trade him in the offseason, or can this thing work, you know? So you want to do that. You want to see if he's your guy. You want to get some chemistry going and see how everybody works together between him and the coaching staff and the plan and all of that, right? So I think that's a big part of it. I think what you said about him staying fresh is also relevant. I mean, you take an entire year off from the NFL and try and come back. I mean, look at Deshaun Watson. That's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to do that. Okay. And he wasn't even injured. So like, I think they want that. It's a confidence thing. You know, hey, you can get back out there and play. You're fine. You know, I know it early on, he had a lot of, there was like a mental block for him about his knee. They were saying he was like over protecting it at times when they needed him to push it. And he was like, don't touch it. Don't touch it. You know, like, you're totally fine. You're fine. You know? So like, I think that confidence needs to build a little bit too. I have heard he's been practicing without a brace on, which is, I think, pretty interesting, which tells me that maybe that's part of the confidence thing. Usually that helps them have confidence. So if he feels like he doesn't need that or doesn't want that, that could mean that he's kind of beyond that level.
Thinking of it.
Yeah.
So you know, because my time in basketball, ACL was such a common injury, especially in the women's side. Like it just whatever reason, they showed a lot more. And one of our better players, you know, she had a brace, and she's like, it's a good and a bad thing, because I know I feel secure, but also it makes me think about it, which you know, it's a lot of it is a mind game sometimes. So
that's a good point. Yeah. Every time you twist, you're like, how's my knee? How's my knee? How's my knee? So I'm excited to see him, because number one, I own him in our dynasty team, and I've got to play him this week, and I'm hoping that he's back to normal. Number two, I've got a lot of shares of Hollywood Brown this year, and so I need to see him get some action too. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be good. I think it'll be good. I think you'll see a second receiver open up at some point. I don't know if it'll be Rondale Moore or if it'd be Michael Wilson, the rookie that they were excited about. Could be Trey McBride, who's been hot last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Someone else will emerge, I think, is a pretty consistent pass catcher there. So I don't know. I'm excited to see it. James Conner looks to be coming back soon as well. I think he's at the week 4 of his IR.
Cardinals playoff push.
Cardinals are making a run.
Kemper's hot take. They are winning the NFC West.
To be fair, the NFC West is garbage. So
it is garbage.
It's
Niners
probably still winnable.
Seahawks.
Other than the Niners, it's not a great conference.
But they've come back to earth. So yeah, that's interesting. So you heard it here first.
Cardinals.
Kemper's calling the Cardinals. Kemper calling Cardinals. Okay. So other than that, I mean, nothing too major fantasy wise. I mean, you're probably the biggest story with CJ Stroud. Had a spectacular game. You started him, got 50 points. I played against him in my neighborhood league. Screw you, Katie. Got 52 points against me. So that was great.
Yep.
That was fun to watch. I think he could be. I mean, it's crazy. 14 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's for a rookie spectacular.
Yeah. And I watched most of this game, and I had not seen him live before, and he's legit, man. He's legit.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had a few games in the middle there where like the stats weren't as hot and whatever, but like he still wasn't turning the ball over.
That's the thing.
Tank Dell had been injured, and now that he's back and healthy, like that's his go-to guy, and it opens up a lot of other receivers to have big days too. You saw Noah Brown go off, which was really random. Nico Collins actually a little bit quieter, so everybody got involved though.
You made a good point. While his stats might have been, mediocre in those couple games, the biggest thing is like he wasn't turning the ball over. 1 interception. I don't know how many fumbles he has, but yeah, they might have lost a couple of those games, but they were all close. They were all in those games. I remember there was a 2 or 3 week span where they lost the game on a last second drive from the other team. Yeah. So even if he's not being flashy, he's keeping them in it. He's making them competitive. No one expected them to have, what do they have, 4 wins now? No one saw that right now. They thought the Texans were going to be trash. So what he's doing is pretty spectacular, very fantasy relevant, making people like Tank Dell and, as you mentioned, Nico Collins, especially in a year when Dameon Pierce is terrible.
He's trash.
But this is a resurgence of Dalton Schultz. This is what I wanted to see earlier on. I thought that was a good signing for the Texans because me, I love having a good tight end for a young quarterback. So when they signed Dalton Schultz, I'm like, this is going to be good. He did not show up his first 2 or 3 weeks, but since then, since CJ's hit his stride, Dalton, between him and Tank Dell, they've been their go-to guys. So that's been fun to watch. So I picked him up in our league a few weeks back. He is now my full-time starter, and he ain't moving.
Yeah, I'm with you. Man. I agree. It's been fun to watch, and the kid's got an arm. He's got great mechanics. He makes great decisions. The players are flying around. Those receivers are flying around all over the field. It was fun to watch that game. It was a pretty cool game to watch.
Yeah. All right. Well, enough of some recaps, enough of going over some of the performances. You know what it's time for. It is time for some blind resumes.
Let's go. Okay, I've got 3 of them for you here. I've got receiver, running back, and quarterback. I'm going to pick the order. I'm just going to plow through these for you. Okay?
Okay.
We're going to start with the wide receivers here. All right. Tale of 2 different types of receivers, okay? We'll see what you prefer.
Crap.
I'm sure that sounded really nice in the podcast.
Thanks, guy. Thanks, Cam.
My throat's a little raw from all the screaming last night. That's why I'm drinking this hot tea out of my Buc-ee's mug. Buc-ee's. 100 gas pumps. They've got everything.
Are we now sponsored by Buc-ee's? Because that would be great. I would go for the brisket tacos. Brisket tacos.
I mean, shit, they make, what'd you say, the tacos?
Brisket tacos. So good.
It was just brisket in a tortilla.
Yeah. But the brisket is the key part. If you mess that up, it's not good.
True, but you could have just had it on a plate. But anyway, you needed some vehicle to put in your mouth. I got it. Yeah. You don't need to litigate this. Okay, so I've got wide receiver 1 has 59 targets.
Wow. Okay.
41 receptions, 534 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Whoa. Okay.
Touchdown maker.
A lot of touchdowns.
Wide receiver 2, 85 targets.
Whoa.
But only 51 receptions, 573 yards, 3 touchdowns. So we've got 10 more receptions, 4 less touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go with my man who's getting 85 targets because that just means like he's being a focal point of, or at least trying to get him the ball. Maybe they're just sailing, whatever. I'm going with B.
Yeah. Okay. So B is Devontae Adams this year. Who we know he's getting targeted out the wazoo, but the last couple of games have been god awful.
He's gotten like 3 catches and 15 targets or something like that.
Yeah, it's been bad, right? Wide receiver 1 there is Jordan Addison, who has had a real nice rookie year here. I mean, especially started to come on with Jefferson out. Obviously, had 1 huge game with Jefferson out, but the targets aren't where you want him to be yet. But he's a young guy. The first couple of games, almost nothing. But touchdowns there. He's kind of have like a Jahan Dotson kind of vibe going this year, I think.
That's true. Jahan Dotson.
So I wasn't sure if you. I thought you go with targets, but sometimes you like those touchdown makers. You like
sometimes
Mike Evans
and
those guys.
I mean, the only thing that sometimes is skewing, and I feel like we always talk about Mike Evans, but he'll have those games where 5 touchdowns in a game, and then on the year he finishes with 8. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
True. That doesn't help me. I need consistency. But
true enough. But those guys are those guys are 10 points apart. Addison actually has 10 more points than Devontae Adams this year.
Yeah, same amount of games too, right? Yeah. So here, but I feel like you've started beginning to my ear, and actually when I did blind resumes with our guest host, he got in my ear a little bit that, you can't necessarily rely on touchdowns, but you can rely on being a focal point of the offense and getting those targets. And so
there's something to be said about quality targets though too. Like if the targets are from a garbage quarterback, they're not worth much, right?
Right.
And so if you make more with less, 41 catches on 59 targets, much better percentage than 51 and 85. So I don't know, make more with less. If you got someone, you got the right person throwing to you. I almost did. I think I had Jamar Chase and Adam Thielen, and I was going to trick you because
it's the Hunter Renfrow of this year.
I was going to trick you because Adam Thielen's catch percentage is like 80%. It's crazy. It's like 64 catches on like 75 targets or something. Whereas Jamar, it's like 60 catches on 90 targets, something like that. Where I was curious where you'd go there and think, oh, one of these has a good quarterback and one of them doesn't. It'd be that would have been fun.
Okay.
But it didn't. All right, running backs. I got to get through these real quick. Running back, 132 carries, 615 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Okay.
16 receptions on 20 targets, 123 yards, and 1 additional touchdown.
Okay.
Running back 2, 137 carries, 601 yards, 4 touchdowns. 18 receptions on 21 targets, 165 yards, no touchdowns. So nearly the same stat line.
I was going to say very, very identical. What is it? I think running back 2 has a better yard per carry average because he had fewer carries. Is that what it was?
Running back 2 had slightly 5 more carries and 14 less yards.
Oh, 5 more carries. So they're really pretty identical. This is just a crapshoot. I'll go with B.
All right. Yeah. This is kind of a toss up, but running back B is Derrick Henry. My boy.
Okay.
Let's go. Tighten up, baby. Running back 1, running back A.
Right, let me guess. It's going to be. It's who? What? You already said it.
Zach Moss.
Zach Moss. So
Zach Moss. Now, of course, granted, there were 4 weeks in there where they didn't have Jonathan Taylor, and so most of these stats were accrued during that time. But it also shows you, and the point I wanted to make with this one in particular is fantasy is a weekly game. And so if you have an opportunity to pick up a guy that you plug in for a couple weeks, they can deliver for you, and then you move on after that. Like I had Zach Moss on my team and I had Jonathan Taylor, and I was playing Zach Moss for a long time. And then Taylor came back and they both were really good for a couple weeks there. You're starting to see it shift more and more towards Taylor as the season goes on, but Zach Moss is still flex worthy, I think, and was a stud there for a while. So you have to be mindful of those situations.
Yeah.
Okay. QB1, you wanted to do quarterbacks.
I had picked him up in my neighborhood league.
Hang on.
Yes. Let's do it.
Let's do quarterbacks. All right. Quarterback 1. 2,471 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, 9 picks. Has rushed the ball 29 times for 157 yards and a touchdown. Quarterback 2. 1,954 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, 3 picks. Has rushed the ball 84 times, a lot more rushing, for 440 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Is how many yards was it? Did he rush for?
440.
Is that Lamar?
That is Lamar.
Okay. At first, I thought quarterback 1 was going to be Josh Allen because he had 9 interceptions, but he has way more than 1 rushing touchdown. Who would be 14 and 9? Who else has 9 interceptions? Huh. I am not a Lamar fan, so I'm going 1.
Yeah, number 1 is Sam Howell.
Sam
Howell, and Sam Howell reminds me of Tim Tebow. Like Tim Tebow was a useful fantasy quarterback, but was not a great NFL quarterback. You know what I mean?
Was he?
Fantasy?
I do not remember him being a useful fantasy quarterback.
Tebow? Absolutely. Yes. He had a very useful fantasy quarterback. He was not a good NFL quarterback.
Hey,
yeah.
He won a playoff game.
Yeah, he did. No, he was very useful
I'll
because he
tell you what,
ran.
Sam Howell, he's putting up points, man. He's only had like a couple off weeks, but he's putting up some points. Got to give him that. So
He is
fantasy
getting his head
again.
bashed in quite a bit as well.
You said what?
He's getting his head bashed in quite a bit as well.
That too. Okay, so my team is Sam Howell, Derrick Henry, and Devontae Adams.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
Not a bad squad.
Well done. Blind resumes.
All right. Get me on campus.
On campus. On campus. I'll do a combo. That'll be it. On campus.
Okay.
All right. So you have to, to remind our listeners, I'm going to be giving you 4 positions, and I'm going to give you where they play ball on campus, and you have to tell me the team that they are playing on currently in the NFL. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to start off. Maybe this gives it away. Maybe it doesn't. Tight end. Central Michigan.
Let's go.
Wide receiver. Here are 2 wide receivers. Ohio State and Iowa State. And then running back. This will probably get you. Iowa State. On campus. Oh, we are on campus. Yes. I'm going to give you 5 seconds.
It's going to be the Jets.
Going with the Jets. It is Jets, Jets. Yes, I figured the second wide receiver would throw you off. That is one Alan
Lazard, right? Yeah.
I
didn't remember that until I knew Breece Hall. I mean, you think Iowa State running back, you think Breece Hall and David Montgomery.
Right. I did not.
But obviously, Amon-Ra is a USC guy. Central Michigan, is that Uzoma?
No, that's Tyler Conklin.
Oh, Conklin. Yeah, I mean, that's why it's tough. It's like you don't even know who their tight end is.
Right.
I
didn't even realize he went to Central. I knew it was Tyler Conklin. I'm like, where'd he go? Central? What? Okay.
You didn't give me quarterback. You said you'd give me 4 positions. Were you going to say BYU or Cal?
I meant 4 players. I meant 4 players.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like quarterback's too easy. But actually, I take that back. Like this year, could not because half the quarterbacks in the league.
Shepherd College.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I should have just how about we just do an all Iowa State teams, like quarterback, Iowa State, wide receiver, Iowa State.
Brock Purdy. Yeah, I mean, they put out some good players recently.
Iowa State. All right, here we go. Next team, your second and last team. Running back, Cincinnati. Tight end, Miami. Wide receiver, Alabama. Wide receiver, Ole Miss.
That's got to be the
on campus.
No, wait.
On
Tight end Miami. That's not true.
On campus. On campus. Who'd you think it was? This is your final answer.
I immediately went to the Eagles for Bama and Ole Miss. But no, it's got to be the Browns.
Such final answer.
Yes.
It is the dog pound. It is the Browns. Yes, obviously Alabama is Amari Cooper. Ole Miss being Elijah Moore. Tight end, Miami, David Njoku. Running back is, once again, because of injuries, we have Jerome Ford. I'm sure that was throwing you off. You did not.
That was throwing me off. I didn't know that about him.
Yeah. So, yes. Otherwise, Nick Chubb, Georgia, I would have been.
And I kept thinking of Kenneth Gainwell, and he's Memphis. And I was like, okay. And that's the Eagles. You know, but then, like, if you'd gone that route, and then Swift, of course, was at Georgia. So, but then the tight end of Miami, I was like, Miami tight end in the NFL? It's been a while since, like, Jeremy Shockey?
So do you know where Dallas Goedert went?
Dallas Goedert went to, like, oh my God, it's such a it's like North Dakota State or somewhere random.
I think it's South Dakota State.
Yeah.
But yes, well done.
I think it's one of those. One of the Dakotas. Okay.
Good job. You crushed on campus. You are on campus.
On campus.
All right, we only got a couple minutes left. I'll give you just a couple rando. These are just random football trivia, some historical. Actually, I'm very intrigued. Maybe we'll just do this one because I just think it's an interesting one.
Maybe we should just talk through it.
Yes, because you're not going to get it, but I want to hear you talk through it.
Okay.
So it's a 2-parter. Who has the most return touchdowns in the NFL all time? And And then so see if you can guess that. Okay. The number is 20. So that's the record. 20 return touchdowns. Okay. So once you give me your guess of who you think it is, I want to hear you try and break down the returns.
How many are kick versus punt, you mean?
Yeah.
Versus potentially interceptions? Is that what you're saying? Is that part of it too?
I'll give you a spoiler. Okay. There is one that I just blew it. There is one that is not a kickoff or a punt.
Okay.
So, one, who do you think it is? And then let's see if you can break it down.
So I think it's Devin Hester.
That is correct.
So
20 total.
I'll tell you who else I was thinking in my mind was Dante Hall. You remember him with the Chiefs?
Oh, yeah. I remember
He was the human joystick. I remember him.
Yeah.
And, of course, you've always got, like, Dion, Charles
Desmond
Woodson,
Howard.
guys. Yeah. I mean, you've got guys like that have like, the capability of doing this via interceptions. Kick versus punt, I would guess. So and he played back when they kicked it off and they returned it. I mean, it was like,
yeah, right.
It was a fair catch kickoff.
You don't see that now.
Yeah, so I would guess like this is a total dart throw. I would guess 12 kickoff, 7 punt.
12 kickoff, 7 punt. Flip it and reverse it. 5 kickoff, 14 punt.
Okay.
Can you try and just in 10 seconds tell me what you think the other one is?
It's a return touchdown. It's not like a receiving.
What'd you say?
It's not like a receiving.
No, it is a return touchdown.
It's
very specific.
Onside kick. No, that would still be. I think that would still be a
kickoff return.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna guess it's like a fumble of his own player. He picked it up and ran it in or something.
No, but it's just, as I said, this is very specific. A missed field goal return.
Oh, dang. So they sit the guy on the goalpost. That's
just had him back there, just sitting in the end zone. And
like a 70-yard field goal, and they're like, we're going to try it anyway. And he's back there, runs it back. Oh, my God. I don't remember that.
That is a 10-point swing. You think you're getting 3 points. Instead, you give up 7.
Yeah, that's true.
Devin Hester, 20 return touchdowns.
That's incredible. I don't know why I thought more kickoff. I think because you get the full head of steam, and it's like the whole field's open to you. Punts always seem harder to me unless they like outkick the coverage. But I don't know. He was crazy.
He was crazy. Those return guys were fun to watch. You say Dante Hall. Like, it's crazy how you would have to shift your punting. It's like, oh God, we don't want it. It's very rare when there's a return touchdown, but they got it to the point where you're like, I don't even want to.
Devin Hester was like, I mean, it was multiple every year. You know, it was like 3 or 4 a year. You know, just like, God, what do you do about this guy?
Real quick, like 2-second story. Way back when I was still in high school, my buddies and I, we were
okay. Good story. Thank you very much. All right.
We were in high school. Lived very close to Boston College's campus. One day we just had football around. There's like 5 of us. We just walked onto the alumni field. That shows how not big time BC football is. So we walked in and we're just messing around. Then all of a sudden, the punt returner comes onto the field, and he's like, "Hey, I'll give you guys $20 if you can lay a hand on me. Like if you punt it to me, and like all 5 of you, if you can lay a hand on me." We're like, okay, yeah. I think all of our ankles were broken at that point. It was pretty bad.
That sounds, a bunch of Jewish kids from the Boston suburbs show up on BC campus to try and touch the kick return guy.
BC is in Chestnut Hill, so it's in Brookline.
Okay, fine.
So yes, Devin Hester, total beast, just fun to watch. But one missed field goal return. All right, man. I think we kind of crushed these.
Sort of, kind of, yeah.
On campuses, and
still got it.
Been a while, but good to do it. All these back. So hey, man, great week. Good luck riding your 3-game winning streak, coming for those playoffs. So
let's go.
Until next time, keep on folding.
Fold it.